Now, you're also involved in a lot of tribute bands, Queen, Led Zeppelin, or tribute bands. Scratch that. Tribute albums. Tribute albums. You participated with the Queen one, Led Zeppelin, the Beatles, to name a few. Do you like doing those? Are there more in the future?
They're fun because you know, it's the ones that I'm actually appearing on. I want to be on because these were bands and artists that I actually liked growing up. I think it would be tough for me to be on a tribute album for a band or an artist that I didn't necessarily like. But on the other hand, I have done things in my career that weren't necessarily my cup of tea, kind of added to things that I normally wouldn't do. And I think that's important to be able to get different influence and get different things that you normally wouldn't do, because it adds to what you're doing later. And yeah, I have a blast with them. It's one guy that pretty much is involved with it, is Bob Kulick. He used to play guitar for Meatloaf and Bob, oh man, he's played with so many people. I'm drawing a blank now.
Trivia question.
Well, his brother Bruce was in Kiss, and he's in charge of all these things. So when he calls me up, he knows he's like a casting director. Every song that he assigns to particular guitar players, musicians, or singers, he knows that voice is going to fit with this song. That voice or that guitar player is going to fit with this song, and everything casts so perfectly with this guy. He's a genius at it.
We're very sorry to hear about the passing of your friend and former bassist of the Talisman, Marcel Jacob. Can you tell us a little bit about your relationship with him?
Well, funnily, that's a new word. Funny enough, Marcel and I were not very close when we were with Yngwie's band. It was it took a few years of us not really having much contact. Actually, the beginning of Talisman for us to find that brotherhood. But once we started Talisman, that's where it truly began. And the guy was my best friend for the latter of 20 years. And next year would have been the 20-year anniversary of Talisman. And so it's a bit bittersweet that we never got to complete that sort of chapter of the career. 19 is not really the number I wanted to end on. And as sad as I am to see him go, I'm as sad to see the whole chapter of everything that we created, and because I won't continue without him.
That was the question I was going to ask you. Is it over now, and that's chapter's closed?
Marcel was too much of a key figure in what we did and how we did it. There are bands like Queen or Journey that can continue on because the core songwriters, the core people that were in there with the people who are not with them anymore, they were the creators of what that sounded like. But without the music, without what Marcel brought to the table, what are my melodies and lyrics going to fit over something that's a faux version of Talisman? It's not going to work, and I'm not interested in making that work.
So now, yes or no, are you going out to replace Paul Rodgers as the singer with Queen?
My God, that's like the common $128,000 question. I can't say yes and I can't say no because at this point I don't know what they're planning on doing. I've heard little touches of rumors of things that they're definitely not over yet. They're not completely done with what they're doing, what they want to do. But on the other hand, there's nothing confirmed, and until they actually release any press statements, I'm not obliged to mention anything. But on the other hand, if they are going to move on, I would hope, and I'm hoping that they kind of have me on that list of people they're looking at.
Well, I hope they're listening to. So what does the rest of 2009 and 2010 have in store for you, Jeff?
Well, I got another show with Rock and Pop Masters in Orlando. It's a corporate gig. That's why not many people know about it. A couple shows back in England with Spike Edney, the keyboard player from Queen. He does these other side gigs as Spike's All-Star Band. And then middle of October, I start with TSO until January. I've got some more shows, Beautiful Mess. We're doing a tribute show for Marcel. It's in Stockholm. We're a memorial show, and that's going to be in February. And then from February on, there's a few things, again, I can't really discuss yet. But
that's all right.
Yeah,
that's okay.
I'm pretty much busy through the summer next year.
Okay. There's one more question that I just want to know personally. You were the voice behind the fictional band Steel Dragon in the movie Rockstar. Did you guys actually come together to write those songs?
No.
Was there somebody that wrote them outside of the people that performed them?
Those songs were pretty much already there when I got brought into the fold. Actually, funny enough, Stand Up and Shout, I think the version I learned from was Miles Kennedy was one of the singers that they checked out from Alter Bridge. And he's in the movie. He's at the end of the movie, but they found his voice not strong enough to play the character of the main singer. That's one of the reasons I got the gig. I didn't get the Wahlberg gig because they wanted somebody that sounded younger and not as veteran sounding, I guess. And so my voice sounded a little more, bam, just in your face, the more seasoned guy. That's why I got the voice of Bobby Beers.
That's great. I mean, because some people might think it was kind of tongue-in-cheek or whatever. They're really good songs.
Yeah,
they're catchy.
Well,
and
Hagar wrote Stand Up and Shout, and Steve Plunkett, back from Autograph days, Turn Up the Radio. That guy wrote Living the Life. So it's kind of funny that, I'm doing these guys' songs, but they wrote these songs currently. We didn't take songs from the 80s. They made it sound, they brought that whole sound back.
Well, it's funny. We have a local band in Buffalo that does 80s covers, and they actually cover Stand Up and Shout, which is really funny because if you watch people's faces and they're like, I heard the song before, I know it, but where's it from? And then they realize it's from the movie. It's kind of funny.
That'd be funny to actually go to a bar and band starts playing that, and I just walk up on the stage and just go, no, let me show you.
Jeff, thank you very much for being with us today, and good luck tonight. I'm sure you'll put on a great show, and thanks for talking with BackstageAxxess. Thank you.
You're welcome.